Hi, my name is Naya Howard, and today I will be reviewing Sorry to Bother You. Sorry to Bother You is a film directed by Boots Riley, December of 2018. The film focuses on the life of a man named Cassius Green who succumbs to the pressures of capitalism. This role is played by Oscar-nominated actor Lakeith Stanfield. In the film, Cassius Green is seen with his girlfriend Detroit struggling to make ends meet. He has this horribly broken down car and is living in the garage of his uncle's house. The film starts off with him getting a job as a telemarketer. With the advice from a fellow colleague to use his white voice, he becomes a much more effective salesperson. As he's increasing his sales, his ranking goes up, and he is soon promoted to work for the Power Callers, an exclusive sales team officed at the top floor of the building. With this new promotion comes more money, but at the expense of his own morals. He is forced to fit a certain persona associated to that of whiteness, and he must make difficult decisions, often resulting in him appearing to be a sellout. As the film progresses, Cassius begins to realize that this position is a lot more corrupt than he thought. This forces him to have to make a huge decision, either to keep the job and continue to live this glamorous life despite how corrupt the company is, or to keep his integrity and go back to being a regular telemarketer at the expense of giving everything up he worked so hard for. The movie ends with him attempting to rebel against the corporation, but as soon as he thinks he's in the clear, it is a devastating ending when it's revealed that it's too late. There were a lot of hidden meanings throughout the film that may have been missed if not paying close enough attention. I'd first like to talk about the concept of people turning into workhorses. A workhorse is a person or machine that performs hard work over a long period of time. They're strong, motivated, and don't stop working until they're told. Towards the end of the film, Cassius discovers that a company he works closely with is literally turning their employees into half-human, half-horse creatures as a way to increase their profits. This was an exaggerated way to show what American society was becoming. People are being forced to work long hours with rough conditions just to receive little pay and minimum benefits. Yet, large corporations don't see a problem with this as long as they're still increasing their profits. Throughout the film, Cassius's job begins to have a larger and larger impact on his life, up until the tragic ending where he was literally turned into a workhorse. This represents how jobs will start to slowly take over a person's life until there is nothing left to represent who that person once was. The next thing I'd like to talk about is code switching and its correlation with success. Code switching is defined as the practice of alternating between two or more languages or language variations during conversation. Yet, most people of color understand it to be changing the way we speak, act, or dress when we're in situations where the majority of the people there are white. In the film, code switching was Cassius's way to success. When trying to make sales calls with his regular voice, he was often unsuccessful. But after being given the advice from one of his coworkers to use his white voice instead, he instantly became more successful. He was making more sales and his ranking was increasing. He was getting noticed by his managers and ultimately given a promotion. And once he got that promotion, he was expected to use his white voice at all times. Over time, this white persona started to take over not just his work life, but his personal life as well. There was a scene where Cassius woke up next to his girlfriend, and the first thing he said to her was said using his white voice. Now, this completely freaked out his girlfriend, and he replied to her by saying, "I didn't even realize I was using it." Now, this clearly showed how the lines between his actual self and his white persona were getting blurred, and it was becoming a lot harder for him to differentiate between the two. This was an example of how large corporations are trying to erase individualism. They're trying to control the way their employees think, speak, and even act, both on and off the job, in hopes of increasing their profits. In the film, sounding like you were white is what's sold. So that is what they expected all of their employees to do, regardless of their race. One thing I really enjoyed about the film was the use of various camera angles. The film would incorporate slow zoom effects or swerve the camera from one direction to another, almost as if you were watching the movie through the perspective of another character. It was a really nice aspect of the film that allowed the viewers to feel like they were actually a part of the scene rather than just watching it. One thing I didn't like about the film was that the ending felt very rushed. I wish that the movie would have introduced the idea of workhorses way earlier into the film. It was a major concept of the movie, yet it was introduced within the last 30 minutes of a 2-hour film. It almost seems as if the idea of workhorses were an afterthought rather than being a core concept of the film. The idea alone of large corporations literally turning their employees into half-horse, half-human creatures as a way to increase their profits was a really interesting concept that I wish was developed more. And I wish there was a bigger outcome for the horses rather than just one scene where they somehow escape and pretty much just help Cassius save the day. It seemed as if their only role in the film was to assist Cassius rather than to represent a bigger fight against capitalism. Overall, I've really enjoyed watching Sorry to Bother You, and I'd recommend you watch it if you haven't already. The film addresses important issues surrounding capitalism and society, but tells it in a way that keeps your interest for the entirety of the film. Thanks for watching.